Have you seen the Next Gen CrossFit 2021 Games documentary? Cause I'm pissed and I'm about to tell you why. First, welcome to the channel, Old Guy Inc. Do me a favor, hit subscribe, hit like real quick. It's so easy, just hit like. It totally helps my algorithm. I would really appreciate it. Super quick video this morning before I head off to work. So we did watch the documentary last night and first and foremost, let's see. I enjoyed the documentary. It was great. I got kind of pumped, but I'm not gonna lie. At the end of the video, my number one emotion was I was pissed. If you've seen it, you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. Let me rephrase that. If you've seen it, but somehow you just weren't paying attention and you just were kind of caught up in all the good aspects of the documentary, when I mention this, you're gonna go, holy shit, that's right. If you're like me, it was glaring. It was like a neon sign flashing, fuck you, Dave Castro, right? You don't exist. You never existed. I mean, unbelievable. So, excuse me. Here is my take on the documentary. I was wondering why it came out so late. Like, why is it just now coming out before the next CrossFit Games? And you could say, oh, that's strategic. They plan it that way. I don't know. Even if this is when it originally was going to come out, here's still what I'm going to tell you. These motherfuckers had to spend an enormous amount of time going back and re-editing this and pulling out all of Dave Castro's interviews and sound bites. I mean, the dude is like non-existent. Like, if you didn't know anything about CrossFit, when you watched this documentary, you would not hear his name. You would not see him interviewed. You would see some dude about, a handful of times in the video say, the 2021 fittest woman in history. And that was Dave. Like, that was his little snippet, right? The new men's champion, right? Justin Medeiros. That's it. Like, you would have been like, oh, who was that little announcer dude? I mean, they completely eliminated him. And I'm going to call this shit right now. All of those interviews that they did with Boz, those were all gone back and redone. I mean, I'm willing to fucking guarantee it. Because if you watch the documentary and you didn't know better, you would clearly, without a doubt, think that Bosman is the director of the CrossFit Games, that he organizes the workouts, that he's the man in charge of organizing, developing all of the workouts. I know he is now, so they totally just set that up. So in marketing, maybe that's great. So people who didn't know better, when they find out in the future, like coming up, that Boz is the director of the CrossFit Games and he's coming up with the workouts, if they saw this documentary, they're gonna go, oh yeah, that's that dude they interviewed a million fucking times and acted like he was the dude who came up with all the workouts. So if you can't tell, okay, Old Guy Inc.'s got a little bit of attitude this morning because I can't stand this shit. I mean, this is like what happened with Chase Ingram in some way. This is what happened when they tried to get rid of Dave Castro the first time. This is when they tried to get rid of Greg Glassman. I mean, who the fuck are the people who think it's a good idea to go back and erase Dave Castro? Like, even if he left the company and now he's back in a different role, like, who decided to go back and edit and design this entire documentary to pretend like the second most important guy in all of CrossFit, without a doubt, right? Greg Glassman, because it wouldn't exist, and then Dave Castro. He is, without a doubt, currently, since he is back and Greg is gone, he is the number one most important person in all of CrossFit, bar none. I don't even believe it's even remotely up for debate or argument. And this entire documentary just basically made it seem like he didn't exist. So I'm repeating myself, I'm rambling. If you showed this video to someone who had never known anything about CrossFit, here's what they would say. A, CrossFit is cool. B, if you asked them who Dave Castro was, they'd say, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Never heard that guy, never heard his name, never seen an interview with him, have no idea who he was. If you saw the dude who was announcing the winners and said, who's that? You'd say, I don't fucking know, some announcer dude. And then if you said, who do you think this guy is that they interviewed a million times with all the tattoos and talked about all the different workouts, you'd say, I don't know, that sounds like the guy who like organizes the CrossFit Games, the guy who like develops the events, tests them, comes up with them. And you'd be like, yeah, you're totally fucking wrong because the documentary screwed that. So I would watch it. There's a lot of good stuff in there. There's a lot of great interviews. All the stuff about Annie was super wonderful. yeah, I mean, it was great, right? You got all pumped up. I loved, especially at the end, a little kind of piece they read about, climbing and mountains and maps and all that little, whoever wrote that, I thought that was really great. But man, here we go. I'm just going to wrap it up. Old Guy Inc. had a bad taste in his mouth at the end of that. And I want to know what you guys think. Who else watched the video and was like, what the fuck has happened to Dave? Was that just me? I hope not. Have a wonderful day, guys. Hit like, hit subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you've seen the documentary, what you thought. If you haven't seen it, I think it's still worth the $15. But keep in mind, they screwed Dave. They tried to erase history. And whoever did that, bullshit. Shame on you.